Tonight on Chris 6 News, Brianna Garcia, who was charged in connection to the death of a 1-year-old child back in 2021, was sentenced today. We'll share those details next. And the shutdown is over, but how long until things are back to normal? We'll have that answer for you next. And we'll have the latest update on our ever-lowering lake levels as our drought continues. Chris 6 News at 5 starts right now. Well, good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Clara Benitez Cortez. We'll get to your neighborhood news in just a bit. But first, after 43 days, the government shutdown is officially over. This comes after President Trump signed a funding bill late last night that will last through the end of January. But how long will it take for things to get back to normal? Ivan Rodriguez explains.
The U.S. government is finally back open, but the fallout continues.
It costs about $15 billion a week, and it accumulates to maybe 1.5% of GDP.
While there's relief for travelers,
I am happy that it'll get back to some kind of normalcy.
Flight delays and cancellations are expected to linger as air traffic control facilities staff back up. Thursday, nearly 1,000 flights were canceled due to those staffing issues, FAA mandated cuts to keep the airspace safe, and unrelated reasons. It remains unclear when regular operations will resume.
It's going to take a long time. The problem is that the cascading effect that has occurred during the government shutdown is going to just kind of build on top of itself.
Across federal agencies, the hundreds of thousands of furloughed workers will have to address a more than 6-week backlog of work, from food safety inspections to NASA operations to tax refunds. Federal workers say it takes time to get things back up and running. And the battle on Capitol Hill still isn't over. There are no guarantees Congress will extend the health care subsidies set to expire at the end of the year, something demanded by Democrats as Affordable Care Act enrollees brace for premium increases.
It went from $400 that we're paying right now to $1,975 for the same policy.
The legislation also only funds most of the government through January, which means in less than 3 months, the government could close its doors again. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Well, back here at home, we're watching our lake levels. As of today, we're at 10.9% of capacity between Lake Corpus Christi and Choke Canyon. That's more than 100,000 acre feet. To put that into perspective, the capacity between both sources of water is a little more than 900,000 acre feet. But what exactly is an acre foot? Well, each one represents more than 325,000 gallons of water. Check out this example from the Brazos River Authority. Imagine a football field covered by 1 foot of water. So from yesterday to today, our levels dropped by more than 66 million gallons. In the past week, they've gone down by more than 860 million. In the past month, down by more than 3 billion. And in the past year, we've seen a drop of more than 30 billion gallons of water. With all of that, let's turn things over to meteorologist Stephanie Lauber for a first look at our forecast. So, Stephanie, is there anything weather-wise that neighbors should be aware about this evening?
Well, I don't want to get too excited just yet, but yesterday we told you that there was a chance we could be looking at some showers toward the middle of next week. That chance is starting to look a lot better. I don't want to get our hopes up because that's still 7 to 10 days out, but the signal's good. But there are many things working against us. Meanwhile, we don't have any rain. Let's look back at the past month here in Corpus Christi. Like many other neighborhoods across the coastal bend, we just really haven't had much luck escaping the warm temperatures. I mean, we've had some 90s here in November, which is a bit unusual. So that doesn't help us because it kind of accelerates the evaporation of water that is currently sitting in our reservoirs. Never mind just trying to add more to it, but keeping what is in there, what remains, is a challenge when we have hot temperatures, which aids in evaporation. But heading into the dry season isn't as problematic as when we don't get rain in the summer because temperatures should be a little lower and that sun angle's lower. It should be better, but still, we need some rain. So far in November, we've had 1 day of recorded rainfall at CCIA. Wasn't even 1/10 of an inch, but there are indications that we could be looking at a little stretch of showers. Will that help with the drought? It's too early to tell, but I'll tell you what we can take away from that signal in just a few.
Well, just a reminder, we are still under Stage 3 water restrictions. Some of those restrictions include no lawn watering. Home car washing is limited to hand washing with a 5-gallon bucket on your designated watering day. Swimming pools can be maintained but must be covered when not in use. And hand watering of gardens and plants is allowed, but only before 10 a.m. and after 6 p.m. And foundation watering by drip irrigation is allowed every other week on your designated watering day. A Corpus Christi mom was sentenced to 5 years probation for her role in her daughter's death more than 4 years ago. Brianna Garcia was in court today for the death of 1-year-old Giselle Lopez. Back in May 2021, Giselle was found unconscious at the Latitude Apartments off of Weber and Saratoga. She died in the hospital 2 days later. For the next 5 years, Garcia must report to the Nueces County Jail on the day of her daughter's death and serve 7 days. She must also pay a $1,000 fine and complete 150 hours of community service. Garcia's boyfriend, Mark Hernandez, previously pleaded guilty to injury to a child and received 10 years deferred probation. We have a developing story out of San Patricio County where 2 local attorneys are facing felony battery charges. Allison Skipper, an assistant county attorney, and Sean Scott Skipper were arrested and later released on $25,000 bonds. Indictments obtained by Chris 6 News allege Allison Skipper solicited a client by phone for her husband's family law practice last August. Sean Scott Skipper is charged with knowingly accepting that client. Under Texas law, it is illegal to use another person to solicit legal clients, and it's also illegal for an attorney to accept employment obtained that way. Both face third-degree felony charges, which carry up to 10 years in prison. The San Patricio County Attorney's Office has not responded to requests for comment about Allison Skipper's employment status. Following last Tuesday's special election, the Taft City Council looks a little different. On Wednesday, residents filled Taft City Hall to welcome Esmeralda Mimi Cruz and Mariah Moreno as the new alderpersons for Wards 1 and 2. They also welcome Elida Castillo as their new mayor, a historic first for the city being its first female mayor.
So I feel like because being the first female mayor, there's a lot that gets, of weight to that, but I'm excited.
Following their oaths of office, the 3 took their seats alongside returning council member Alonso Molina and got to work on a handful of agenda items. Speaking with Chris 6 News, they say their goals are to unite the community moving forward. Following Wednesday's meeting, the council's first regular meeting will be in December. Turkey prices are up, but how much of a dent will this put on your wallet? We'll share those details next.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
Welcome back. Wholesale turkey prices are up 40% from last year after avian flu outbreaks hit flocks across the country. The USDA estimates wholesale frozen turkeys will be about $1.31 per pound, up from 94 cents a pound from last year. Avian flu hit 2 commercial farms last year, and the beginning of this year, the virus can spread very quickly among turkeys.
Once the virus enters the turkey farm, it can destroy the entire farm within a day or 2.
In a statement, HEB says in part they are not experiencing a shortage and their limit 1 per person is a yearly occurrence. Their Butterball turkey can currently be found for 97 cents per pound. Tony Jaramillo will have that full story at 6. Now, if you don't thaw out your turkey before deep frying, you may end up needing a visit from the Corpus Christi Fire Department, who held a celebration for some of their members today. Several firefighters were recognized for their outstanding achievements during the 2025 Fall Awards ceremony held at Del Mar College Oso Creek campus. Among those recognized was a group of firefighters who sprang into action after an incident of a jumper was reported at the New Harbor Bridge. They received the Meritorious Unit Commendations Award for that rescue.
It was a unique call. It's one of those low occurrence, high risk, high stress things, but we don't get to dictate the calls. We just have to respond, and we have to formulate a plan and do the best we can to help the citizens.
Captain McLeod also says it's nice to receive recognition, but it's even better to dedicate an entire adult life serving the citizens of Corpus Christi.
All right, how's traffic doing out there? We got this view from our SPID camera, and there are a lot of busy bees out on the roadway trying to make it home. So, are you facing any slowdowns along your commute? For that, we head to the maps now and show you that along 37, we're solid, looking good. It's a little stop and go-y out on Shoreline, anywhere from about Louisiana into downtown. You're going to find the stop and go. We're looking okay though on the crosstown up until where we intersect with SPID. That's where things get a bit sluggish. We're not doing too bad. In fact, most of the slowdowns are on the SPID part of that interchange, but again, not going to keep you too long. There's just a lot of cars out there, but we're flowing. In contrast, on Saratoga, we are seeing some stop and go areas generally around Mary Carroll High School, so keep that in mind. Weber, of course, going to be a bit problematic out there, and Staples, the usual problem commute. You can expect the usual slowdowns there. Alternate, airline's looking pretty good right now, not a bad option. So as you head out, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. What about that rain in the forecast? I've got more on it coming up. All right, here is the view from our CCAC camera out at Snoopy's. And as a popular internet video once put it, look at all those chickens. Bird Island is a popular place to be in this golden hour evening. So what else can we expect in our forecast? Because we've been kind of riding this wave of warm afternoons, decent mornings, but those mornings have been getting a little more warm, and this morning we had some more of that inland fog. So let's talk about what to expect in comparison to what we saw today in Corpus Christi. We started off a little warmer. We were in the 60s to start our morning in Corpus Christi, 61 degrees to be exact. The afternoons keep inching closer to those upper 80s. 86 was the final number today, and so we were about 9 degrees warmer than we typically would expect to be for this time of the year. And we're starting to get a little closer to those actual records. Low 90s is kind of where most of our record highs sit for this time of the year too. So hopefully we won't brush those numbers, but with added humidity, slowly bit by bit each day, we're starting to feel almost like we're getting to those 90s, especially if you were to talk to some of our inland neighbors that are currently sitting in those middle to upper 80s after 5 o'clock. When we are approaching the sunset hour. So you can imagine how the peak of the afternoon heat went for them. But we tend to stay a little cooler by the water since that kind of keeps that temperature in check. Being near the coast is a big favor when it comes to the temperature, because when we're cooler, it's going to keep you cool. When we're warmer, it's going to keep you warm. That's how that works. But the wind coming off that water kept a lot of folks near the coast from seeing fog. I think our inland neighborhoods are in for yet another round starting off tomorrow morning, because we're starting to see more water come back to the air around us. It's been a very incremental increase here. Slowly adding a little more water to the air means our dew points are going to hang out in that muggy category, the 60s. But as we head into the next couple of days, we're going to keep it going. So it may be a slow crawl, but we're getting there, and it is adding to just a little bit more of adding a few minutes to the morning commute when it comes to this kind of weather. We're kind of seeing very small changes that I think ultimately will give us some rain in the forecast, but you're going to have to wait till next week to actually see any of it in the form of rain. Until then, we've just got fog, hardly any clouds out there. Tomorrow morning, I don't think it's going to be a dense fog situation. A lot of the fog we've been seeing lately has been very shallow, very close to the ground, as our coastal wind weather watchers have been sharing with us. So it's not overly problematic out on the roadway. Still, good idea to give yourself some extra time. Tomorrow's fog doesn't seem to last very long either. Just something that could be a little aesthetic, and you should be watching out for it. But as I mentioned, humidity continues to rise. Even though it's been a slow rise, we're going to keep it going with dew points reaching the oppressive middle 70s as we head into next week. That timing being the middle of the week. That is important because we will see a change in our overall weather pattern that could help us out with this problem. We don't want to see any color on the map. Last week, we were looking at expanding drought through Jim Wells County, Duval, McMullen counties. So this week's update with no rain, of course, has gotten much worse, and we're starting to see more of that extreme drought creeping through portions of central and eastern Texas. So rain is exactly what the doctor ordered. Hopefully, we will see more of it next week. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast to show you. We're hoping to get some scattered showers on into the forecast. Target time frame is going to be near our next front around Wednesday or Thursday.
It was a big day for residents of the Hillcrest area and for the city of Corpus Christi. Ground was broken this afternoon for the Harbor Bridge Parks project. The project includes upgrades to T.C. Ayers Park, Williams Memorial Park, and Ben Garza Park. Park upgrades is just part of the project. It's going to be a complete makeover of that part of the city.
I don't think there's any single investment this large in one neighborhood. This is huge. It's a $30 million investment that has diversity and approach. There's parks, there's gardens, there's softball fields, there's swimming pools, there's trailheads where the community can meet.
The majority of the project is expected to be completed by November 2026. The swimming pool and aquatic center at TC Ayers Park should be done by spring of 2027. After a hailstorm affected many in Taft last week, Real Transit is stepping up to help those with free rides for those that are in need. The services are available from Monday to Friday from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. This temporary initiative came to life with the help of Mayor Elida Castillo, who says it's important for people to get around town, especially with tasks such as grocery shopping, school, or even medical appointments. Our neighborhood news reporter Ana Conejo speaks to a Taft resident who describes her vehicle damage and says Real Transit is making a difference.
My front windshield really was on the verge of collapse. You could touch it and you could push it in. There was glass on my dashboard.
Now, if you live in Taft and are in need of a free ride, call 361-668-3158.
Big league talent, small town spirit, Jose Trevino brings the love of baseball right back home. I'm Alexis Scott with how he's inspiring the next generation of players during his annual homecoming. Woo!
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
The excitement is in full effect here at the USS Lexington as hundreds of young, aspiring baseball stars and even some of the professionals are here for Jose Trevino's batting practice, also known as Trevy's homecoming. I'm Alexis Scott, your North Beach Neighborhood News reporter, showing you how these players are hitting all the right pitches.
The roars of bats and cheers of young fans echoed across the deck of the USS Lexington on Thursday as hometown hero and Cincinnati Reds catcher Jose Trevino returned back to his city.
What's up, baby? What's up?
With the help of local players like the Cal Allen Wildcats and professional Texas Tailgaters, the annual event gave young players an unforgettable experience. Even young prospects like Gianni Molfisi making his mark.
The hard work, they put in the work every day, 24/7, and hitting every day, fielding every day, just inspires me.
And he had fans screaming his name, too. Thursday was easily described as an all-star event, highlighting Trevino's commitment to community and his passion for sharing the game with the next generation.
I just believe in the baseball here. I believe in the kids here. I believe our city's beautiful enough to host big events like this, and I think we need more.
Trevino says he hopes to continue growing the event every year.
Just to see something like this come together, that just shows unity in our community, and I love it. I feel like they come out every year. Every year I feel like this gets bigger and bigger. So.
If you missed Thursday's event, you have another chance to see Jose Trevino and have a little bit of community fun during a celebrity softball game and other exciting tournaments happening right here in Corpus Christi. We'll have details on ChrisTV.com. On North Beach, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Alexis Scott, Chris 6 News!
Thank you, Alexis. Speaking of sports, Chris 6 will be airing the bi-district first-round matchup between the Flower Bluff Hornets and the McAllen High School Bulldogs. Tune in for that live game on Friday at 7 p.m. on Chris 6 and on our YouTube page. A rare endangered rhino has been born in the wild. We'll share those details when we come back.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
A national park in Kenya says they've confirmed the birth of an endangered eastern black rhino calf. You can see the baby here with its mama, and it's at the Shayulu Hills, which is photographed in Kenya with one of the park's 42 camera traps. The birth marks the second rhino calf born at the park in less than 2 years. It also brings the Shayulu population of the eastern black rhino up to 9. The Big Life Foundation says it has dozens of rangers who patrol the park to monitor the rhinos. That's how they discovered the teeny one, 3-toed footprints, and made the connection that a new calf was born. Very cute there.
It is wholesome content.
I love it.
Very cool. There is a winery up in the Hill Country that
has a rhino.
Yes, they
yeah.
take care of our endangered rhino population.
Rhinery, I believe it's what it's called.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can support them that way. Hey, we would love some of that Hill Country cool down that they've been getting up that way. And while I don't necessarily have that in the 7-day forecast, there could be a better chance of rain. So keep your fingers crossed.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you here at 6 o'clock.
Bye.